During the Holocaust, German schools began teaching Nazi ideology in their classrooms. Hitler believed that there was a master race of people. In his master race, also called the Aryan Race, people were white, German, non-Jewish, fair-haired, and had blue eyes. In this photo, you can see a nurse checking the eye color of a child using a color chart. It's difficult for us to imagine that a person's worth could be determined by the color of their eyes, but this actually was the way things worked in Nazi Germany. Hitler also falsely believed that the Jews were a race of people. In his mind, this Jewish race was inferior and dangerous and a threat to the German people. In this classroom photo, the teacher has written on the chalkboard, "The Jew is our greatest enemy," and he's asked the two Jewish students to come forward so the rest of the class can see their greatest enemy. These students have been singled out and are obviously humiliated. You can tell because they're not even able to look into the faces of their classmates. Along the bottom of this window is a children's book designed for very young children, even preschoolers, teaching anti-Semitism. It's called The Poison Mushroom, and it talks about a mother who's picking mushrooms with her son, and she's instructing him that some mushrooms are good and some are bad, and some look good and are bad on the inside. And she said, this is just like Jews. Jews may look like regular Germans, but on the inside, they're dishonest, and they're suspect, and they're dangerous. And this was taught to very young children. Even before they could read, their mother would read it to them. This is a picture of a book burning. Book burnings were very, very prevalent in Nazi Germany. It was important to Hitler to destroy the works of anyone who wasn't a part of his master race. Libraries were emptied, thousands of volumes were burned. People were encouraged to attend these events. There were speeches, there was music, there were oaths of loyalty, as you can see by the people who have raised their arms in this photo. It's important to know that whenever hatred and intolerance gets to be to such a level, people feel it necessary to consume the ideas of others in flame. That's a very dangerous sign. That is almost always a precursor to violence. The word Holocaust means to consume in flame. And during the Holocaust, the first things that were consumed in flame were books. Eventually, buildings followed, synagogues, Jewish businesses, and ultimately, sadly, human bodies followed. The first victims of the Holocaust were not Jewish. They were actually people with disabilities. Hitler felt that people with disabilities were weak, and he felt they were a drain on society. He called them, and I quote, useless eaters. He felt they should not be allowed to live and certainly not be allowed to reproduce because their children would also be weak. So he began this program called T4, which gathered together people with disabilities and killed them using gas. The way it would work is if you had a child with a disability, let's say with autism or cerebral palsy or Down syndrome or something like that, the government would come to your family and would say, let us take your child. We will provide all the necessary therapy, medications, and treatment for them. It'll be better for them, it'll be better for you, and it'll be good for everyone if we take your child into our care. So families did give up their loved ones with disabilities to be taken away where they were tragically murdered by the Nazis. Once this secret got out and people learned about the T4 program, there was global outcry. Many countries complained that you couldn't do this to people, you couldn't kill people who were so vulnerable and so innocent. And Hitler very famously took a step back when he was confronted with this outcry, and he said, okay, I won't do it anymore. However, the T4 program continued in secret.